You are listening to Hello Cupcake, It's Me, a podcast with your host, Michael Peterson.
Hey everyone, Michael here with Hello Cupcake, It's Me, a podcast, and today is May 2nd, 2024, and thanks for hanging with me. If you haven't done so already, please hit like and subscribe, then head on over to youtube.com/Hello Cupcake, It's Me to check out the YouTube videos that are updated every Wednesday and Saturday. Then head on over to HelloCupcakeIt'sMe.com to check out the blog and give it some love, and then head on over to check out my upcoming book that is scheduled for publication in November of 2024 at www.cdsthebook.com. So, without much further damn ado, let's get right into it, shall we? So, if you follow me on the YouTube channels, you're going to see that there was actually 2 videos updated yesterday, and one of them was after I had already done the Wednesday check-in, and it was a hyper-emotional video, and I'm sorry, not sorry. You know, it was something that really had me upset and that I just needed to get up off my chest. For those of you who have yet to watch the video, I'll just touch on it here. So, yesterday, I found myself having one of my many adventures that I usually do. As a lot of you who have been around for a while know, I schedule nothing unless it is a doctor's appointment. Everything else in my life is very free-flowing, very spur-of-the-moment type situation. Well, yesterday was no different. So, as I was driving home after going to the Y and doing my Wednesday video and having lunch with my sister or whatever, my friend calls me up and tells me that she's on her way into town to go to a laundromat and get some stuff washed up. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, well, if you want to have me tag along with you, you need to either stop at my house or we need to find a place for me to park my car. Anyways, we get to the laundromat eventually, and there's these 2 elderly women between the ages of 75 and 85. And the one lady's face is just completely busted. Like, she's got black and blue marks all over her face. There's cuts and, scabbing. And just looks like goddamn it to hell. And my very first thought was somebody attacked her. Or, and I hate to think of things like that, but I was like, maybe somebody attacked her, or, she's a little unstable on her footing. Maybe she tripped and fell and hit her face. And, the logical side of me was like, that's probably more along the lines of what actually happened, was that she tripped and fell and hit her face. So, anyways, we get to talking, and I didn't realize that there was another lady out in the car waiting for her who had dementia and was, in and out of, just reality, as it were. My spirit would not let these ladies go. And the more that I talked with her, the more that it became like this shit needs to be taken care of right now. She said that they'd only been living in their car for 3 days. I'm sorry, in my opinion, 3 days is way too long. But it was extremely apparent that these two ladies had been in that car for multiple weeks, if not months. And they had this poor black lab boxer dog that was crammed in the back seat with all of their worldly possessions that they could hold on to back there with, and like their trunk was completely filled. Most of the stuff was filled for the dog to like have to try to maneuver around. And I felt so sorry for this poor beast. Like, all I wanted to do was take it and get it into a new home. But I also understand, like, you know, that is the only companionship that these two ladies have. And at the end of the day, the dog could act as a protective ward or something should anyone try to break into the car or interfere with the women or whatever else. But yesterday I was so broken and emotionally, physically, spiritually drained after dealing with these women. I tried everything I could to get them some kind of emergency housing. At one point, I even called the police department because as a mandated reporter in the state of Washington, that falls directly into my jurisdiction of having to mandate, report, and talk about and like get that across. And I exhausted all of the resources that I knew to tap into. Like, I even went as far as going online to find a lady's name, then finding her home address, checking it out on Google Earth to make sure that it was actually her address, and then cross-referencing that with her name and found her phone number. I got her home number and her cell phone number from doing all of that. And, you know, not to toot my own horn, but my Google skills are kind of freaking legendary. And it stems from a job that I used to have, where I had to do background verifications for employment and stuff like that. But, you know, I digress. So I called this lady up and she's like, "Oh, Michael, hi, how are you doing?" And I was like, "Hi, I am so sorry for calling your personal number. I know you've never given it to me. I did a kind of a quick Google search, found your phone number, and gave it a try." She's like, "You Googled me and you found all of that information?" And I said, "Yeah, it's kind of scary what you can find, but, you know, I'm sorry. You're the only person I knew who could possibly help in this particular case, because this lady is on the board of a committee called Community Build or something like that, our Build Community." Anyways, her and her organization go around building tiny homes, and they are really well connected and networked with some of the homeless and transitional housing agencies. And she's like, "Oh gosh, Michael, let me go ahead and call my people and I'll give you a call back. And if you make any leeway on your side, please call me and let me know what's going on." I was like, "I will do so." So, anyways, long story short, we finally get a contact point at one of the food banks in town, and we go to this food bank, And this guy is supposed to be some kind of minister or some kind of outreach person for the local church or what have you, and his hands were basically tied. Like, every single person, every single agency, every single thing that I tried to tap into was closed door, closed door, closed door, closed door, closed door, closed door. And it was just like, what the actual fuck? Like, I even called a domestic abuse center that was for, women. And they have transitional housing. They have the ability to get women into safe places and so on and so forth. And I got, all the people that you would need to talk to are in a meeting right now, and I can't really disturb the meeting. So can you call me back in 30 minutes? And I'll try to, chisel some time. I'll, try to intervene or whatever. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? If this was a DV case and the person who was being abused was just able to get away from their abuser right there on the spot, would you tell them to call back 30 minutes later? That just completely fucking floored me. Then I tried calling and getting a hold of another agency who is known for helping people who are homeless, who are in need of shelter, and so on and so forth. And they said, oh, well, we don't do anything like that. They literally run a tiny home village for homeless people or people that have lost housing or whatever else. And they literally have a 4-story apartment building that they just built that was specifically for housing people for short-term, long-term stays or whatever. And I have a friend who lives in there, and I know for a fact that there's at least 5 apartments that are open right now because she keeps me abreast on what's going on there, and has been trying to actually get me to move in to those apartments, just because she knows my financial situation and all that other stuff or whatever. But god damn, after we went to the police department and I explained everything to the officer or whatever, I was thinking, okay, he's a cop. They have resources that we don't have access to. There's going to be something that he can do that I can't do. And I handed him my business card. I explained to him who I was, how I knew the information about the women, what I thought the situation was like. And I said, there's definite neglect here, and I'm pretty sure abuse, but the lady said that she just fell walking her dog. I said, but based on the state of things, I think that Adult Protective Services needs to be involved. And he's like, well, sir, that's not exactly how Adult Protective Services work. They come out, they assist the situation, they make sure that the home is safe or whatever else. But they don't have a home, and does this look safe? Well, they look like they're fed, they look like they're this or that. I'm like, you are letting me down. Officer, you are letting me down. You are letting these women down. You are not being helpful right now. There's got to be something more that you can do. You, as an officer of the law whose job is to serve and protect, you are not serving nor protecting. nor holding up your oath. Like, come on. And after he, like, basically patted them on the head and said, be safe, and they drove away, as these ladies were driving away, my heart just fucking shattered. I had nothing left. And I was just so downtrodden, just so, like, overwhelmed, and just everything in between. I don't get religious. I don't get political. But on this channel, you know, I try to keep things even keel. And I'm sure that most of you can kind of figure out what my affiliations are with some things just by the things that I've talked about. But I'm going to get a little political right now. This is a year for politics. There's elections happening. There are changes that need to be made. Do not vote for somebody based solely on their political party. If you are a Republican and there is a Democrat that has any kind of compassionate, like, platform, vote for that Democrat. If you are Democrat and there is Republican who has any kind of compassion, vote for that Democrat. Like, we need to stop with the whole bullshit of red versus blue, me versus you, us versus them mentality. In 2024, supposedly being in the greatest fucking country in the world, we are not. We are failing our systems that we have established. We're failing our citizens. We are failing the American people. I don't want to hear any bullshit about, well, you know, when Trump was in office, this happened. When Obama was in office, this happened. Blah, blah. No, shut it up. Shut the fuck up. Throw that shit aside. Because if the presidents actually had the power that you believe they had the power to do, things would get changed with each and every single elected president. But the first year of any presidency is the president cleaning up and changing the policies of the previous president and whatever else was put into place. So, regardless of your political affiliation, if you are any kind of a religious person, be it Christian, Catholic, Jew, Muslim, pagan, what the fuck ever, vote to bring about a change within humanity that is going to be good for everyone, not just select few. If that means that the top 1% needs to be taxed at 97%, tax them at 97%. If that means giving socialist breaks and whatever else to programs that protect people, fucking put funding into it. There's absolutely no reason why we need to be funding the military, why we need to be sending money and aid over to Israel or over to Palestine or overseas in any facets. We need to start doing right by our people. And it has to start somewhere. Let it start with the individual. We have so many people who are vegan or vegetarian that will not use their money to buy anything that has any kind of connection to animal rights or whatever else. Okay, you know what? I'm an animal I love animals or whatever, but at the same time, we need that same kind of militant connectivity and mindset in helping people who are in these demographics. Like, there's no reason why these two elderly ladies should have been living in a car. There's no reason why these two elderly ladies should be slipping between the cracks. There's no reason why these two elderly ladies should not have safety and stability and the care that they have, outside of the fact that there's greed, there is, well, do better or whatever. You should have worked harder when you were a younger person. You should have done this, you should have done that. You don't know their circumstances. The circumstances at hand right this moment, these people needed help. These ladies were somebody's daughters, sisters, wives, grandmothers. And we did nothing to fucking help the situation. So, my challenge to you all is to do better. Doesn't matter how you do better. Instead of looking at a homeless person or somebody standing on the sidewalk asking for change or whatever, while you are sipping your Starbucks or you're eating your McDonald's or you're doing what the fuck ever, don't throw shade at them. Don't ignore them. Don't look past them. Stop and give them a buck. Let them be helped. So that's all I'm gonna say. I gotta go. Bye, guys.
Thank you so much for tuning in. You have been listening to Hello Cupcake, It's Me, a podcast with your host, Michael Peterson. Please make sure to check back often as new episodes are released bi-weekly. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to send a message to hellocupcakeitsme@gmail.com. And until next time, stay happy, safe, and keep doing the best you can with what you have been given.